Hey there, it's Robert C. Baker with Zach Taylor, Chattanooga, and Move to Chattanooga, your real estate guide for southeastern Tennessee and northwestern Georgia. In this video, I want to talk directly to homeowners who are thinking about selling. Here's the truth, we are not in the same market we were 2 or 3 years ago. The day of throwing up a for sale sign in the yard and expecting a bidding war are over. Today's market is more cautious, more strategic, and a little more unforgiving. But the good news is, homes are still selling, and selling well when they're positioned correctly. So if your home is sitting, if buyers aren't biting, or if you want to maximize your equity in this changing market, I'm going to walk you through exactly what's happening, why most listings are falling flat, and how to make your home the one that gets the offers. Let's break it down. First, let's look at the mood of the market. Buyers aren't necessarily vanishing, they're just a lot more cautious. Over the past few years, many of them got burned. They rushed in during the pandemic housing frenzy, sometimes waiving inspections, paying way over asking, and dealing with the consequences later. Now that things have calmed down, buyers are doing something that they haven't done in a while: thinking, comparing, asking hard questions, and they're not afraid to walk away if something doesn't feel right. In the greater Chattanooga area, I've seen this play out in places like Ooltewah, Signal Mountain, and even East Brainerd. Homes that would have flown off the market in 48 hours a year or two ago are sitting for weeks, sometimes months. And not because there aren't buyers, but because the homes simply aren't showing up right. This isn't just about interest rates. Yes, rates are higher than they were in 2021, but we've been hovering around 6 3/4% for months now. That's the new normal. Buyers have adapted. The bigger issue, they're being more selective than ever. The modern home buyer, especially those relocating to Chattanooga from places like New York, Illinois, Texas, or California, isn't just looking at square footage or school districts. They want value, and more importantly, they want confidence in the purchase. Buyers today are planning every dollar. They want to walk into a home that feels well maintained, fresh, and turnkey. If it feels like a project, they're not interested unless the price reflects it. And most of the time, it doesn't. I recently toured a home in East Brainerd. On paper, the house was perfect. Great neighborhood, 3 bedrooms, 3 baths, fenced-in backyard with a pool. The home was listed for over 2 months, but when we walked in, the carpet had obvious pet stains and odors, dated wallpaper was still on the walls, and lighting fixtures screamed 1990s. Any buyer looking at the property would say, "We can't see ourselves living here." That's not unusual. Even little things, dusty blinds, faded paint, or clutter can turn people off fast, because they're not just buying a house, they're buying a vision of their future. If your home doesn't help them see that vision clearly, they'll move on to the next option. There's a myth still floating around that inventory is super low, so sellers have the upper hand. That may be true for some homes in some neighborhoods, but not all. The truth is that the number of homes for sale in the greater Chattanooga area is up. But what's out there? Some of it is stale, it's sitting, it's not presented well, or it's overpriced for what it offers. So from a buyer's perspective, they feel like there's nothing good on the market, even if there are plenty of listings. That's a huge disconnect, and it's where you as a seller can shine if you're willing to put in some strategic effort. If you want to sell in this market and sell well, you need to stop thinking like a seller and start thinking like a marketer. Let me show you what's working right now in our area. Number 1, first impressions matter. The first time a buyer sees your home isn't at the open house, it's online. Your photos need to pop. Your home needs to look spacious, clean, bright, and welcoming. That means professional photography, good lighting, and no random cords, clutter, or laundry piles in the frame. Even before professional photos and video are taken, you as a home seller need to declutter. Box up and store in your garage items that are rarely used, like mementos, keepsakes, and even excessive family photos that might be meaningful to you but don't attract potential home buyers. Because if the professional pictures online don't hook them in 3 seconds, they're scrolling past. Number 2, pricing needs to be accurate. This market is all about positioning. If you price your home too high, you'll scare away the best buyers, the ones who are ready to write an offer right now. If you price too low, you'll leave money on the table. You need to land right in that narrow window where demand meets value. In this market, testing a higher price is no longer a strategy, it's a liability. Number 3, presentation sells. Staging doesn't necessarily mean renting fancy furniture, it means showing off your home's strengths. In some cases, that means rearranging furniture to make the room feel larger. In others, it might mean replacing an outdated light fixture or painting a bright red wall a neutral tone. In a listing I had in North Shore, the seller spent a few $1,000s painting the exterior of their late craftsman home. The home had been listed before, but had received no offers. Guess what? After the paint job, the seller received an offer and closed at $10,000 above list price, far more than the price of paint and labor. Why? Because the buyers looked at the property and it felt good. It felt like home. Let's talk about what I call emotional math. Buyers aren't just doing spreadsheets, they're measuring how a home feels. Can they picture raising their kids here, hosting holidays, working from the kitchen island with their coffee in the morning? This is especially true for out-of-state buyers coming from higher cost markets. They're already nervous about making a big move. If they walk into a home and feel like they're inheriting someone else's to-do list, that anxiety only grows. If they walk in and feel at peace, the price tag becomes secondary. Here's something I see way too often. The home gets listed, photos get uploaded, and then crickets. No strategy, no build-up, no buzz. That's what I call a passive listing, and it doesn't work anymore. If you're serious about selling, you need a plan before your home hits the market. That means pre-listing prep, teaser marketing, and even soliciting agents who've recently toured your neighborhood looking for homes for their buyers. Creating urgency before day one helps you hit the ground running. When I launch a listing, I treat it like opening night of a show. Everything has to be ready. Lighting, stage, energy, because that opening weekend is when most serious buyers will come through. And if we don't wow them, we don't get a second chance. You don't need to figure out all this alone. I offer a personalized strategy, offering you tips on what needs to be done, room by room if need be, and what objections potential buyers may have. I want to ensure that what needs to be done is done, so as to make your home as appealing as possible to buyers in today's market. We look at layout, lighting, paint, landscaping, and even scent. Yes, scent, it matters. I also provide pricing guidance using real-time data specific to our Chattanooga neighborhoods, not just as estimate or generic CMA. Whether you're in Appleton, St. Elmo, Hickson, or in Fort Oglethorpe, I can help you position your home where it has the best chance to attract motivated, qualified buyers fast. And if you're not in Tennessee or Georgia, no worries. I'll connect you with a top-tier agent in your area who uses the same approach as I do. Look, this market isn't broken, it's just shifting, and shifts require strategy. I've been through several transitions in this industry. What's clear to me now is that sellers who succeed are the ones who adapt. They don't rely on luck, they use a plan. And that's what I offer, a repeatable, proven process that helps good homes sell well, even in a cautious market. If you're thinking about selling and want to avoid becoming just another listing, let's talk. You can schedule a strategy session by calling 423-820-3663, logging on to movetochattanooga.com, or simply shoot me a message on Instagram or Facebook. Let's get your home sold, and sold right. Want to know more about selling your home in today's market? Watch this video next.